you had many destinations. You came to Delhi, you went to Agra,
Yes.
to Jaipur, to Hyderabad, to
Yes.
Kolkata, to Guwahati. So, which is the place you like most, or what is the attraction? Really?
Oh, I would never, if politicians started picking favorites, they'd never get reelected.
You like all the
I
places.
like every part for different reasons. Guwahati was interesting. It was very green in the mountains. The people were from different parts of Asia. You could see that. Delhi was fascinating because of all the activity. Agra, of course, the Taj Mahal is beautiful. I spent Diwali in Jaipur. I've been to Diwali celebrations for years because about 10%, 1 out of 10 people in my city are from India. So we have a big Diwali.
That's a great thing. 10% people,
Yes.
Indian Americans
Yes,
in Carmel.
in Carmel. So I've been to Diwali, but I got to spend Diwali in Jaipur this year, and the lights were everywhere and fireworks, and people were
Oh,
dressed.
for Diwali you were in Jaipur.
I was in Jaipur
Yeah.
for Diwali this year, and that was fun.
You also participated in Diwali celebration.
Yes, I did. We went to dinner I was on a tour, went to dinner and saw the fireworks, saw dancing and music.
And also you went to see the tigers.
I did get to see the tiger, one tiger.
Yeah. Then what about Kolkata? Did you went to see the place of Mother Teresa?
I was not able to see the place because of my schedule.
Oh.
But we had a lot of activities and a lot of meetings in Calcutta, and it seemed like a beautiful city. It was very clean. It seemed like a very nice city. I like Calcutta. The history and the architecture there was fascinating.
And you went to Delhi, Kolkata, Hyderabad, are big cities, but you choose Trivandrum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rather, compared to other big cities, Trivandrum is not so big city. We have 1.2 million people in the city, but
Yes.
it's compared to be rather a small city.
It was because of the people here that wanted me to come here.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to the large region I live in Indiana, called Indianapolis, the capital. My city, Carmel, is a suburb of the larger city. And it has a similar population, so I feel very much at home here.
What are things you know about Kerala?
Well, I was reading about it before I came, and one thing I noticed was that the average longevity of a person here is almost 10 years more than the rest of India.
Yeah, right.
So it must be a very healthy place.
Life expectancy.
Yes.
It's
And
almost as good as in Europe.
yes, in the United States and Japan. I think Japan is the best in the world. But then I also read about the literacy rates, the high number of people that read and write here.
Almost 100% in most of the districts.
Yes, and it's a good rate for anywhere in the world, whether it's England or the United States or Japan. It's competitive. There's very few places in the world where it's that high.
And it's a green state, and it's a tropical climate, and
Yes.
we call it God's own country.
Yes, I would too, from what I've seen. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. And in the introduction I said, you are a team member, the task force member of the climate change
Yes.
committee for President Obama.
Yes.
And I think you are closely associated with the president. But you are a Republican.
Yes.
So how do you account?
Well, it's so important in a representative government after the election is over for both sides to come together and work together. Even though there may be differences, doesn't mean we can't be friends. It doesn't mean that we can't find areas of agreement and make progress. I don't know of a Republican or a Democrat in the United States that wants the air to be dirty or wants to drink dirty water. We all want to make improvements. There might be disagreement about how best to do that, But we need to talk with each other. We need to be friendly. We need to work together. That's why democracy works.
And you are very much concerned about global warming,
Yes.
and you are fighting strongly for
Yes.
that cause. But some of the Republicans say the term global warming is a hoax.
Yeah.
It's a what you call deliberately fabricated falsehood. So what's your reaction on that? And you are a person who is strongly arguing. And what they say is, for the last 17 years, if you are seeing the data through the satellite, there is no major shift in the climate. What they say about it?
Well, almost all of the world's scientists
Yeah.
agree that there is warming that's unprecedented for the last thousands of years on the globe, and that human life is in danger and animal life is in danger if it doesn't change. So the extent of the warming is still to be determined. So I think it's incumbent on us, for our children and our grandchildren, to try to make as much of a difference as we can. There, you say about some Republicans thinking that global warming is a hoax.
And their allegation is
There,
that
there are some people who probably still think the world is flat too. We have to believe, we have to believe in science. And I should point out something on behalf of the Republicans. Most Republicans are very responsible and believe in the science. There's a few, but of course they make the news headlines. But it was a Republican president, Teddy Roosevelt, who over 100 years ago set aside most of the natural parks in the United States. And it was President Nixon in the 60s and 70s he did other things that weren't good, but when it came to the environment, he made more progress than any other president ever. He was a strong Republican. He signed the legislation, the law, that established our Environmental Protection Agency, the first time that the federal government had an agency to deal with the environment. He signed our Federal Clean Drinking Water Act. He signed the Migratory Bird Act, which protected our American eagle, which is our country's symbol, and all the other birds and animals that were in danger of being eliminated or becoming extinct. He probably signed 10 bills that really were the entire framework of our environmental legislation. Ronald Reagan, at one point, with Margaret Thatcher, warned about global warming. She had a science background, and he had great respect for her, and he talked about it. He expressed some skepticism, but then said, but the science is real. It's just how we approach it. So we have this history, and the first administrator of our Environmental Protection Agency is from Indiana, my state. Was just given an award by President Obama. It was announced just a few days ago, but he was the first administrator of our Environmental Protection Agency back in the 1970s. So the Republicans have this history. It's only recently there's been some skepticism on the part of a minority of Republicans. But regardless of politics, people need to come together and do what's best for our children and our great-grandchildren.
Their allegation is that there are some corporates and business lobbies behind this global
There may be.
warming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there may be.